Okay, before we pick up from last week's episode, the crossroads of commitment, passion versus persistence, and dive into part 2, we're going to start today's episode off a little different than normal. With last week's episode, it was from a listener's question that said, what are you to do when you've committed your whole life to a passion and you're no longer passionate about it? So if you missed last week's, do please go back and start with that one, as it's kind of important. So today we're going to do something a little different. I'd like for you to join me in a visualization exercise. This will totally help set the stage for the conversation ahead and allow us to connect more deeply with ourselves, okay? So if you are in a safe space, and if you're able to, I'd like for you to find a comfortable position, whether you're sitting down or you're lying down. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, fill the air, fill your lungs, and hold for a minute. Then slowly exhale. Let any tension in your body slowly melt away as you focus on your breath. Notice how your tongue may be attached to the top of the roof of your mouth, how your jaw may be a little tense, how your shoulders may be a little tense, or how your neck may be stiff. On this next inhale, just feel the air going into your lungs, and then just gently release. Now, with your eyes closed, I want you to imagine yourself standing at the entrance of a lush, beautiful, massive forest. The scent of fresh pine, of earth, maybe some distant rain, it fills the air. And the ground beneath your feet, it's soft and it's damp and it's cushioned by years of fallen leaves. And as you begin to walk, each step you take feels grounded. It feels like it's purposeful. There are birds that are singing, and leaves that are rustling gently with the breeze. Sunlight breaks through the canopy and it's casting these little patterns of lights and shadows that guide your path forward. There's a quiet wisdom in the forest. And each tree you pass, it has its own story, its own years of growth and challenges and change even. Some trees, they stand tall, while others, they bend and twist and adapting to the elements that are around them. But all of them grow with confidence, following their own unique trajectory, trusting their journey. And as you walk deeper into the forest, you come across this clearing. And in the center, there's this beautiful, ancient stone bench, worn by time, by sturdy, and just it's inviting, and it just beckons you to come and sit. This ancient stone bench. It's worn by time, but it's sturdy, and it's rather inviting. And you walk over and you take a seat. And it's here that you are asked to reflect on decisions you've made and the path that you've chosen. As you sit there, feeling each breath going into your lungs and each exhale releasing, feel the weight, feel the importance of each decision, but also feel the trust that you've placed in yourself with each decision that you've made. The forest around you stands as a a testament of time, right? It's growth and it's trust, and each tree in its own way, it's trusted its journey, its instincts, and the natural order of things. It just accepts it. And just like these trees, you also possess this innate wisdom, a compass that guides your decisions. Take in another deep breath in. I want you to savor this moment of reflection, to savor this moment of trust. Hold on to this feeling, knowing that your journey, much like the forest around you, it's unique, it's evolving and guided by an inherent trust in yourself. Now slowly begin to pull your awareness back to where you are right now. Maybe wiggle your fingers, maybe feel the surface beneath you, and when you're ready, gently open your eyes. After emerging from that serene forest and feeling the weight of your own decisions and the trust you place in yourself, I'd like for you to think about this. Just as a tree stands tall and firm, how do we find that same confidence in our decisions? We often doubt ourselves more than anyone else, right? And why is that? Why do we second guess our choices and feel unsure? Well, some say a lot of it comes from wanting others to approve of us. From a young age, we're taught to be aware of making mistakes and taking chances. And this sometimes makes us question our gut feelings over time. But if you think about it, every choice that we make, good or bad, teaches us something. It's all part of, well, not to use the word too much, but journey. But the real goal is to believe in ourselves and to see every decision as a chapter in our story. Okay, but how, Chad? How or where, better yet? Where do we find this confidence? Well, let's go look. I'm Chad Lawson, and let's calm it down in 3, 2, 1. After our discussion on the crossroads of commitment, touching upon passion versus persistence, it's no surprise that doubts, well, they creep in. It's just part of the everyday. We've all been there, feeling deeply passionate about something and committing to it, and then only later questioning our choices, right? Hindsight being 20/20, they say. This doubt, this questioning of our decisions, it's something that we all struggle with. We fear making mistakes, especially when we've devoted so much time and energy to a particular path. And that fear can stem from many avenues, right? As I mentioned, maybe seeking validation or approval from others being one. But it's really, really important to remember that every choice you've made, that every turn at every crossroads, every single time it's been a lesson. And that's key. That's key to look at every decision as a lesson. Coming back to the listener's poignant question about losing passion after committing to it, we have to realize that our story has its chapters. And just because one chapter is about a particular passion doesn't mean the entire story is. I'm going to say that again because it's really important. Just because one chapter of our story is about a particular passion doesn't mean our entire story is. Life is a mix of passion and persistence. It's okay to change course or to even rediscover a new passion. And trusting ourselves and our gut feelings, it's so important, right? I mean, these crossroads will always be there. There will always be decisions. And sometimes it's persistence that gets us through those decisions. And other times it's rediscovering or rekindling the passion that we have at the moment. But like that tree standing tall through every season, our experiences and our choices, well, they shape us. They make us into that tree that slowly over time grows not only taller, but deeper with roots. And we grow and we learn and we evolve. And as our story unfolds, it's our trust in ourselves that can guide us through both passion and persistence. But once we recognized these pivotal moments and have assessed our feelings, how do we trust the decisions that we make? Well, let's embark on this walk through the forest, if you will, shall we? So making a decision can sometimes feel like standing on the edge of a cliff, right? Preparing to dive into waters unknown. I don't know how many people do this. But the exhilaration of the jump, right? The thrill of the fall and the embrace of the water below, all of these are unknowns until we experience them, right? I mean, trusting our decisions is like this leap of faith. It's understanding that we've made the best choice for ourselves, even if the outcome may be uncertain. So today I want to walk you through a unique way to trust yourself, not just by making what feels like the right decision, but by reflecting on your past choices. You might be wondering, what? Reflect on what? Well, consider this. Where you stand today is a direct result of decisions you made yesterday. Let that sink in. Where you stand today is a direct result of decisions you made yesterday. So I'm going to share with you some ideas and how to be able to reflect on your decisions and think on where you are today is because of yesterday. So the first thing is recognize your strengths. Think back to past challenges that you faced and conquered. You've stood at life's crossroads before and you found your way, right? You've gone through some really important decisions in life and you've made it through. And these experiences serve as proof of your resilience, of your making it through, of your savviness in getting through it. So trust that you're able to handle what comes next because your past has already prepared you for it, right? You would not have been standing at those crossroads and have gone through successfully if you weren't prepared for where you are now. And while you're reflecting on these past strengths, which is powerful, it's also important to mold our present mindset for the challenges that are ahead. I'm going to say that again. Reflecting on past strengths. It's tremendous. Well done. This is also molding your present mindset for challenges ahead. Second, affirmations and positive self-talk. Hear me out. To build a bridge from past achievements to future challenges, I want you to actively remind yourself how strong you are. Remind yourself of your capabilities, of what you have been through. Say to yourself, I am capable of making the right decisions. Did you hear that? Say to yourself, I am capable of making the right decisions. I trust my intuition. So when you say I'm capable of making the right decisions, when you say I trust my intuition, you are shaping a confident mindset. You don't have to believe it, but I promise you, the more you do this each day, it will change everything for you. As it's laying down the groundwork, it's putting into place your mindset. It's molding you to be able to look at tomorrow and say, you know what? I trust my intuition on this. I'm going to make the right decision. But it's also not just about the here and now, right? I want you to remember every decision is a step in your life's story. And so to ensure your steps are deliberate and they're meaningful, occasionally look back to the reason that they propelled you forward. Trust your intuition. Trust that you are capable of making the right decisions. And then revisit your why. I talked about this a lot in the last episode. Every decision we make has a driving force behind it. Why? As I said last week, why this? Why now? Whether it's a passion or a necessity or ambition or love, this reason often provides the clarity and conviction that we need to move forward. And however, with time, memories fade. And the realness or the vividness of that why, sometimes it can diminish. And it's really important to pause and to revisit and occasionally reflect on the motives behind our decisions. And when we revisit, we're rekindling our why. We're reigniting that spark, right? And we can anchor ourselves in our original intentions. We can find assurance in past choices. And we can muster the strength to face through anything that's ahead of us as far as challenges with clarity and purpose. But revisit your why and ask. Revisit your why. And yet, while introspection has its benefits, it has its merits, it's also essential to strike a balance, right? Constantly questioning our choices, sometimes this can lead to hesitation and inaction even, which brings me to the next point, which is the limit second guessing. It's natural to want to make the best decisions, right? I mean, who doesn't want to do that? But continuous over-analysis can lead to decision paralysis. I'm going to say that again because I worked really hard on that one. Continuous over-analysis can lead to decision paralysis. When we get caught in the trap of incessantly second-guessing ourselves, we risk stalling our progress and missing opportunities. Once you've made a decision, it's important to embrace it and move forward with conviction. Again, trusting your intuition, just like earlier. I mean, no path is void of bumps or turns, right? And if adjustments are needed later, have faith in your ability to adapt and to navigate, okay? Each step, whether straight or winding, it contributes to the journey of self-growth, the journey of self-discovery. And speaking of navigating and adapting, sometimes life throws us some curveballs, especially when it comes to our daily routines and meals. And that reminds me to ask you this. Have you ever been ambushed by your own pantry where old beans meet that lone can of beets? It sounds kind of grim, right? I know. Don't get me wrong. I love beets when they're done right. This fall, I want you to elevate those last-minute meals and dive into flavors that surprise and delight. So instead of grabbing those random items left in your fridge, there is a better option. It's delicious, quick, satisfying meals delivered right to your door with Daily Harvest. I have been thrilled with Daily Harvest's offerings, from fruit and veg-packed smoothies to scrumptious forager bowls. And in the mornings, honestly, I love their apple and cinnamon forager bowl. It's so good. And let's not even talk about the delicious portobello and pesto flatbread that has become a favorite amongst the house. But what's great about Daily Harvest, it's convenient. A fridge full of easy-to-prep options means no more pondering over what to cook. Plus, goodbye to the hassles of just fixing things, and then the post-cooking cleanup. It's evident that they prioritize quality, right? They collaborate directly with farmers, and daily harvest ensures top-notch ingredients, freezing them at their peak ripeness and preserving that fresh and seasoned taste and nutrition. What you see is truly what you eat. Not to mention the ethical aspect. They support farmers, focus on enriching the biodiversity and health of our soil, and their effort is using recyclable and packaging that you can even compost. Yes. It's another way to ensure that even as you enjoy your meal, you are contributing positively to the environment. Keep yourself and your freezer full with hassle-free meals from Daily Harvest. Go to dailyharvest.com/calm to get up to $65 off your first box. That's dailyharvest.com/calm, CALM, for up to $65 off your first box. And just as we seek convenience and perfection in our meals, we also tend to do the same in our decision-making process. And this brings me back to our main topic, right? As we focus on moving forward, it's really important to understand that the quest for perfection can be both a motivator and a hindrance. So here's the thing. This week, I want you to accept your imperfections. Hard to do, right? Every choice we make, like every path that we walk down, it has its unique terrain. Sometimes it's smooth, sometimes it's rugged. It's unrealistic to expect every decision to yield perfect outcomes. So instead of striving for perfection, strive for progress. Strive for growth. Embrace the imperfections in your choices. No, really. They offer unexpected insights and lessons and opportunities for growth. When you acknowledge and accept these imperfections, you're not only freeing yourself from the burden of these unattainable perfectionisms, but it also opens your heart to the beauty and the richness of this story and this path that you're walking down through the forest. With all of its ups and downs, you'll see trees that are tall and you'll see trees that are just beginning, right? Accept the imperfections. And while individual introspection can definitely bring some clarity, there are times when the collective wisdom of those around us definitely offer some perspective. So the next step is to seek solace in the collective. Every journey, personal or professional, it benefits from shared wisdom. When in doubt or faced with a challenging decision, lean on some trusted friends, some family members, and some mentors. Their experiences, their insights, and simply a listening ear, these can all help you in the most invaluable way with perspectives and maybe some reassurance with what you're doing. When you share your thoughts and your decisions with someone, this can often cast a new light, a new perspective that even as you're sharing it, you're like, wait, that's interesting, right? And then their feedback might bring clarity to some cloudy judgments. And moreover, realizing that you're not alone in this. Your story isn't meant to be read just by yourself. And having the support of others can be that aid that keeps you afloat. It can be that lifesaver that keeps you afloat in turbulent times. And then building on the idea of collective wisdom and support, sometimes the most significant comfort can come from an internal shift and perspective. So I'd like for you to embrace detachment. What do you mean? Well, it's obviously important to be invested in our own decisions, right? But there's also a power in detaching ourselves from the overwhelming fear of the potential outcomes. Instead of constantly wondering, what if it goes wrong? Ask yourself, what can I learn regardless of the outcome? I'm going to say that again. Instead of saying, what if it goes wrong? Consider, what can I learn regardless of the outcome? When you embrace this mindset, you free yourself from the chains of anxiety and of fear and even perfectionism, right? And so trust in the broader flow, believing that even if certain choices don't lead where we expected, they may open doors to those unexpected paths and lessons that we didn't even consider. And this kind of detachment, it's not about indifference, but rather about cultivating faith in your journey and in the story and walking through this path. And then understanding that sometimes the plans for us, they might be bigger than our own. But you have to embrace the detachment. Instead of asking what if this goes wrong? Asking, what can I learn regardless of the outcome? So those are some thoughts. And navigating our decision-making process through some of those strategies, it can help us to a new realization, a new, this is where I am. And embracing these principles changes how we make decisions. Instead of acting on just blind faith, we move forward with confidence. Every choice, whether it brings success or a lesson, becomes a step, right? And over time, we'll see that even uncertain steps had their place and purpose. Now, speaking of making informed and mindful choices for our well-being, I've been exploring a new way to support one of the most critical organs in our body, our liver. I'm going off script here, but as someone super into Chinese medicine, I just had my acupuncture yesterday, there's been an ancient perspective that often goes unnoticed. In East Asian medicine, our emotions are deeply linked to our internal organ system. Take anger, for instance, a feeling that we've all grappled with at various intensities, shall I say, whether it's subtle aggravation or overwhelming fury. In this tradition, anger is not just an emotion, it's a reflection of our liver, right? And so they correlate an emotion to a body part. And when this emotion is frequently at the forefront of our experiences, sometimes it can indicate that there's an imbalance in liver energy. Look it up, seriously. Okay, sorry, I'm getting way off script. I apologize. I just love this stuff. But you see, our liver is our body's filter. It's important, and it handles over 500 functions every day, from converting what we consume into nutrients to flushing out those unwanted elements. Yep, that's right. Those not toxins, but those elements that we'd rather not have lingering around. So I want to share with you Dose. They are expertly formulated organic wellness shots that truly support your liver. And what I love about Dose is that unlike many wellness shots, it's not just packaged with just standard juices or powders. We're talking about a power-packed shot with ingredients that are scientifically backed and completely clean. Now, I've incorporated Dose into my daily routine, and the ease of it all is just a quick shot, and I'm good to go. Plus, the flavor, honestly, it's quite refreshing. Since starting with Dose, I've noticed an increase in my energy levels and overall focus, and you know what stood out to me? Each ingredient in Dose is so potent, like just one shot being equivalent to 17 shots of turmeric juice. Mind-blowing. But what truly sets Dose apart is its commitment to real results. Their formula has undergone clinical testing, and not just the individual ingredients. You can even check out the clinical study on their website if you are curious. Now, I know many of you prioritize health and wellness. That's why you listen to this podcast. Thank you. And if you're keen on supporting that all-important liver function and building healthy habits, here's a fantastic offer for you. Dose is offering Calm It Down listeners 15% off your first order, plus an additional 15% if you decide to subscribe for a monthly delivery. Yes, that is a whopping 30% off your first order. So if you're curious and want to give Dose a shot, literally, visit dosedaily.co/calm. And remember to use the code CALM, C-A-L-M. Again, that's dosedaily.co/calm. And use that code CALM. Here is to our wellness journey together. Now, having just discussed how we can actively support our physical well being with your right choices, it's only fitting to dive deeper into how our choices also sculpt our self confidence. Both, in essence, are about nourishing ourselves, whether it's our body or our life's narrative. And as we look back, some past decisions might seem small, while others stand out as big moments, right? Think of our choices like stars in the night sky. Some shine really bright and some are dim, but they guide us, right? Each decision is part of our story that helps to light our way and teach us as we go. And when we embrace this view, it helps us see the bigger picture, it helps us trust our intuition, and helps us trust our own unique path. Going back to the forest, if you remember this silent forest, and as dawn begins to break, there's this singular moment when the world holds its breath even. It's a moment of anticipation, right? A whisper, if you will, of promise. And as darkness makes way for the light, well, the same thing goes for our lives. As we stand on this crossroad of decisions, the dawn of truth isn't just about the imminent sunlight, but about cherishing the beauty of both day and night. It's about recognizing that every decision, whether bathed in the moon's silvery glow or the sun's radiant warmth, it holds a unique place in our story. And as we wrap up this episode, let's make a promise to ourselves. Let's make a promise to trust our story, to believe in our decisions, and to cherish every twist, every turn, every crossroad, no matter how difficult. Every decision has put you where you are now, and that is beautiful. Thank you for joining me in this introspection. Thank you for listening. Thank you for living. And until next time, keep trusting, keep believing, and keep embracing this beautiful forest of life that we are walking through. Until next time, be kind to your mind and join me again as we calm it down. To find more episodes of Calm It Down, see where I may be appearing in your area, or just simply want to know where to send me some chocolate chip cookies, visit calmitdownpodcast.com. This podcast was written and produced by yours truly, Chad Lawson, composer, pianist, and nationally recognized Sweet Tooth. The views, expressions, and techniques in this episode are of my personal opinion and not intended, nor should they, serve as a substitute for medical advice or diagnosis rendered to you by your individual doctor or other healthcare provider. Only a licensed physician should evaluate your situation, provide a diagnosis, or render other medical advice to you, and you should only act upon the advice of this physician. Now, I'm an extreme empath by nature, but my profession is that of a composer and pianist, not a licensed therapist or physician. I hear from thousands of listeners how my music has helped them through various stages of emotional needs, and I simply want to offer this in future podcast episodes to aid those needs. So to find a list of licensed professionals in your area, please visit calmitdownpodcast.com. And if you've enjoyed today's episode, please leave a review, or better yet, share it with a friend. While it takes less than 60 seconds to do, its impact will last for years to come, as every little bit helps in growing the awareness and the importance of mental and emotional health. Thank you for listening. Thank you for living. And until next time, be kind to your mind and join me again as we calm it down.